So I've already been asked on Instagram why I'm milling out here, and is it to get rid of the sander and whatnot. It's not really. It's because some of these slabs, like this one here, I can't actually lift it, and even two of us, that would be a really awkward thing to do multiple passes on a wide belt sander and also bring into the shop. As you can see here, there's moss on this. There's probably bits of mud and stone and grit. And then get rid of the really crap stuff, and you wouldn't believe, like getting rid of, I don't know, up to ½ an inch when it's not going to be used. Some of this real crap, bringing that down, that really relieves the weight. And you can see slabs like this again. Now this needs to get sorted, but it's got moss on it. I'm sure there's little bits of mud and stone. I don't want that going through my sander, and I certainly don't want any of that wood touching my plane of knives. I like it on the floor. There's a good reason it's on the floor. I can walk this slab over and lay it down quite easily. You can see where it's not level there. You could start pegging that, and then I use these Rui clamps here. These are the ones that fit on a profile. If you're worried about this sliding around, you can put that in there, like that. Use another one here, and that's not going anywhere. So that's really, really good system for clamping. And if you don't have space for these rails, for this whole big system, Rui make these ones, which I've shown on other videos. They fit into the kind of Festool 20mm hole like the MFTs, and I've made a mega MFT. And what you can do is get rid of these cross sections, not have a structure. Literally just buy 2 rails, and I'll show you inside how it works. This is just a small section to give you an example. This is the profile I use. You can buy one of these, some of these from Rui, and you can set these out on your mega MFT, or your, depending on how big your MFT is, lock them down, and you can actually have the wood sitting here to be, and my router sled will actually fit on the top of this profile, so you don't actually need the cross supports like I've got outside. You can just keep a couple of these rails as long as you want, 3 meters up to 6 meters, I believe. One of these each side, put it down, and because the mega MFT, certainly in this case anyway, the mega MFT is completely square and completely flat, this is the perfect mobile bed for putting your slab on to do your milling inside, and just literally lock these down and you're off. So if you're wondering, it's not heavy, pretty much like a ladder. You can just pick it up like this and take it away, stick it on a shelf somewhere, wherever you want to put it. We've all got a problem with space. Looks like I've got a lot of space. Believe you and me, it's the same as anything. No matter how much you've got, you never got enough. So on this, I'd use like a 2–2.5 inch bit, not too expensive. I'll clean off what I can of the mud and a bit of this. But the first bit, which can be pretty much thrown away if you hit too much stuff, they're only about 20 quid. That's going to do the real coarse work. I'm not worried if I get a few lines. Just do the coarse work, turn it over, get the thing flat. Then you can use, once you know you've got rid of all of the stones or the moss and all the crap that was on it, bits of bark and stuff, then you can use a proper milling bit, which you can have 4-sided blades like on the planer. CMT do one. I'm going to see if Tickman do one. And you can actually mill this, and if you take your time, you can get it pretty flat, ready straight for a random orbit, or if you've got a wide enough belt sander, you just do 2 passes at 80, 2 passes at 150, maybe a pass at 180, and it would be done. So for me, the reason of using a router sled out here is that it's just in the place where the heavy wood is, where the wood that's still got some of the crap on it or the bark, and it's just the first stage of dealing with it and getting it flat without bringing it into the workshop and all the dust. I'm not really worried about the dust collection. Obviously I'm working outside. If you're using a Festool, the 2200 Festool, the dust collection, to be perfectly honest, is pretty good with a milling. Certainly keep it away from your face. I mean, this was just an example, I've just set it up. But if you're worried about the dust in the air, it certainly gets rid of the fine stuff, and the bigger sawdust can go, for me, it's just going to be swept over there into my bag. So again, just using the big 2-inch or 2.5-inch bit, just a cheap one, to remove all this crap on it and this moss, and then you can decide what's going to happen next. You can go straight to sanding, or you're going to put more expensive milling bit on there. Take your time to remove the lines. You should be able to get it, if you take your time, you should be able to get it at least as good as a really good setup bandsaw, which is easily dealable with a random orbital or a big wide belt, however you're going to do it. But that's the reason behind having a router sled for me outside in my barn, and the reason for having it on the floor is just because dealing with these great big things, there's no reason to lift them up if two of you can just lay them down and just get rid of the bulk of it.